So BMV or Benz?
I don't really like Benz.
Samsung or iPhone?
If I were to have an option, I will not pick anyone.
Hello guys, welcome to the special edition of the Building Boost, the tips and tricks for architecture undergraduate. I am your host Zakari Abdullahi Kamaluddin. With me here today is a great landscape architect in the name of Nasir Ibrahim Amir.
Hello, my name is Nasir Ibrahim Amir. I'm a graduate of landscape architecture at Ahmadu Bello University. I reside in Abuja. My Instagram is _AmirJR. I've been in ABU for 8 years now. This is my 9th year, but hopefully before the end of this month, before the end of April, I'll leave this environment.
Our first question here is, how do you think creativity affects someone's output in design?
For creativity, I would say it has some aspects. So we have the functionality aspect, we have the aesthetic aspect, we have the problem-solving aspect. So when it comes to creativity and affecting someone's output in design, if your design doesn't embody these three things, I think your design would not be one of a kind.
Yeah,
and a way that creativity affects the output of design is through research, because you cannot come up with something without seeing or without research or without going through stuff. So you have to do your research, go online, yes, check Pinterest, check Instagram,
true.
check about the ideas. Then when you've gotten these ideas, then you can now come and input it into your own, like now making it your own, like originality now, making it your own, then embodying these three things that I just spoke about, which is the problem solving, the functionality, and the aesthetics. If once you have this, you will see that your work is not just aesthetically looking good, but it's also functional.
and unique.
Creativity affects someone's output in design as you go along the way, and then as you improve your research, as you improve your form of research. That's why case study is always important.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
that's very true. Most of us, when we came in here newly, you find it really difficult, especially those who doesn't have any prior knowledge on fine art design in their previous schools. Yeah, you find it really hard to come up with good graphics. So how can you improve your graphics in design? We're talking about manual drafting here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for manual drafting graphics, I think the best way to improve your graphics is to, first of all, take graphic communication very serious, because that's the foundation for graphics.
Yeah, true.
And then when you're in class, definitely, I don't know about other classes, but for my own set, there were people that were good with graphics, and there were people that were not good with graphics. So those that were not good with graphics, they tend to meet those guys that are good in graphics. Okay, how do you do this? How do you do this? What shade of pencil? What shade of pencil? What ratio of clutch pen? Yeah, I know there's 0.5, there's 0.7. So you know what ratio of pencil to use, what shading style are you using? Like, teach me how to shade, teach me how to color. Like,
there are different types of pencils.
Yes, there are different types of pencils. So you know the type of pencil you're going to use. You know the type of clutch pen you're going to use. You know the different shading. You know the type of, the different shading you're going to use. And then just, being interactive with your classmates. Because if you hide yourself in the ball and say you want to improve your graphics, you will still do the same thing you did when you're on 100 level. It's the same way your graphics will be in 400 level, because you did not want to learn. I feel like you should be intentional when you want to improve your graphics. Be intentional about it. Research about all these things. Get the materials. I know some of the materials are expensive, but just get them. And then when you have them, then be inquisitive. Be like a child. How you do this? How you do this? Yes. There, I know if you do that, your graphics will definitely improve.
Yeah, sure. And one thing I think will really help you is to really decide what you're going with. Are you going with colors, or you're going with black and white?
Yes, that's another thing.
Yeah.
Because most people in this department, yes, I know some people will say I'm being controversial here, but most people fear colors. I don't know why. I don't know why they fear colors. You just ask somebody, he'll tell you, I'm using black and white. Why are you not using black and white? Because I don't know how to color. Why don't you learn how to color? It's not like the color is something that is difficult, but then a lot of people tell you, no, they are using black and white. No, they are using black and white. And then when you look at the lecturers, they prefer colors. They prefer these colors. So, yeah, I think knowing which one to use too is important.
All right. So this question here is very important. Our viewers out there, will be able to relate with this, and I would like you to really take your time and explain this.
Okay.
As an architecture student, wherever you are in this world, there's always design on your neck.
Yes.
Design is pressing you, it wants to kill you. And then there's other bunch of theories sitting there in the corner staring at you. And then you have your social life. You also have your personal life. How do you balance all this? What's the secret?
I think the way to balance it is just proper planning. Yes, architecture students and architects in general, because I've been on IT and I've worked in the field too. So I know that architects don't plan their time. They don't have planning. But then the best way to balance all this is planning, proper planning, because I recently, some of the students in the department, when you tell them, "Come, let's play football," they tell you, "No, we have assignments, we have this, we have that." But the best student in my class, was the captain of the football team.
Wow.
So I keep telling people, it doesn't matter whether you tell me you have assignments or not. It's just planning. When you plan your time, you say, okay, today in the morning I want to do design. Then later in the afternoon I want to read. Later in the evening I want to go and watch football. Or those that have girlfriends and boyfriends want to go and see their partners and stuff. It's just proper planning. If you plan your time really well, I know some people will say whether as I plan the time, I still don't. But if you're disciplined, that's why there's something called discipline again. You plan the time and you're disciplined about it. There's this other guy in my class again. He's this kind of person that when he comes to the studio, when he says he's been going to be in the studio from 8 to 10, by the time it's 10 o'clock, it doesn't matter whether he's in the middle of drawing a line.
Bro.
As long as it's 10, he's packing his thing as he's going.
That's serious.
That's called discipline, because he knows that from that 10 o'clock, he wants to do something else. So just plan your time and then be disciplined about it. That's just the best way to balance these three things. That's the best way to balance it.
And one thing I would like to add to what he said is, as an architecture student, whenever you're being given a brief, you should do well to start very early. It really helps.
When you start your module very early,
true.
you would see that by the time they come to the end, most people are trying to figure out their floor plan. But maybe you're already at
ahead.
your 3D or stuff, because 3D is usually the last thing.
All right, if you're really enjoying this program, do well to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. All right, architect, I have few social questions for you here. Samsung or iPhone?
If I were to have an option, I will not pick anyone.
All right, none.
Yes, but between the two, I would say iPhone.
All right.
I would say iPhone.
So BMW or Benz?
I don't really like Benz. The only Benz I like is G-Wagon. I know, yes, people are going to say blah, but I don't like Benz.
All right.
So I picked the other option.
All right. Revit or SketchUp?
This one is a tricky one. Revit or SketchUp? Well, I started with SketchUp, so I cannot deny my SketchUp right now. But then Revit does everything. Revit is like the father of everything. Can I pick both? Because I cannot pick one here.
All right, you're allowed to pick both. So manual drafting or CAD?
I would always pick CAD, but then it always starts from manual drafting, because whatever you do while doing manual drafting is the same thing you do when on CAD. And yes, people try to argue it, but it is the truth. How creative you are with your hands is the same way you'll be creative on the system, because before you take it to the system, you have to sketch it on paper. But I'll pick CAD over manual drafting.
This next question is somehow related to the previous question you answered before this.
Okay.
So, like we said, everywhere you are as an architecture student, generally, once in a while, you find yourself in a very tight situation under serious pressure. So, assuming you are there, how do you handle it? Because I know some people who whenever they find themselves in a situation like that, they easily get panicked and they get scared and be like, I'm not doing it again. I'm going back home, call my mommy, daddy, all these things. So how do you come out of that situation?
There's always pressure. When it comes to architecture, there's always pressure. There's no time that there's no pressure. But the main thing is make sure you're moving forward, or make sure you're doing something. So in that situation, like maybe you have like 5 assignments and plus design. No, it's okay. You say today I want to do 2 sheets of design, then do the first assignment.
Yeah.
So you know that, okay, that first day you are actually doing something, so that the next day when you wake up you'll be like, oh yes, I did something yesterday.
Yeah.
But if you don't do anything about it, the assignment will still be there. The pressure is still there. So the best thing is do the design and do the assignment, but make sure you are doing something every day.
Yeah, true.
Like, just make sure you are moving forward, because
Yeah.
if you don't do anything, you're stuck in one place, and then if you're stuck in one place, the pressure is mounting and time is going out,
It's
and
like
then
you're on your own.
you now start feeling like, oh my god, why did I come to architecture? Well, everybody feels like that, but the main thing is just to move forward, do something.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do something about it, it will still be there. So just plan it. Okay, today I'm going to do design and this, or you say today I'm not even touching design. I want to do like 2 assignments from 2 different courses.
Yeah.
Or like, just plan it so that you know that, okay, yes, you're doing something.
Thank you, Architect Amir, for your time and the wonderful explanation you just gave. So before we go, quickly, I would like you to give us a general advice, like to any architecture student out there, whether here in ABU, in Nigeria.
First of all, I would say, don't be a follower. Don't be a follower, be a student. That's the first advice I would give. And what I mean by don't be a follower, be a student means don't just pick one person and say, oh no, this is this kind of architecture I want to do. And then you just like, you constrain yourself. Like some people just pick Zaha Hadid. Oh no, it's Zaha Hadid. They want to be like that. No. There's Frank Gehry, there's Frank Lloyd Wright. Yes, there are all these architects. Be curious.
Yeah, true.
Have childish curiosity. You know, when you see something like, how did you do it? How do you? That's one thing I advise. Like, when you see someone do something like sketching, drawing, you know, animation, rendering, anything. When it comes to anything that has to do with architecture, remove the pride. Yes, some people have pride.
Exactly.
Just drop the pride down. Bring yourself down. You say, how did you do this thing? How did you teach me? I want to know. I want to know how to do it.
Yeah.
Because one thing with architecture is you don't learn to because you want to pass. You learn to know.
Exactly, and be better.
Because someone out there might see you doing it and then might ask you, how did you do it? So you too, you now teach the person because you know how to do it. And then whenever pressure is too much for you, sometimes just leave. It's not all the time, but sometimes just leave the work and go and sleep. At least take 1 day rest. Sleep even for 1 day. Yes, I know the deadline is coming. You have like 3 days, you have 4 days. Sleep, because it's only a healthy architect that can put out good results or put out good designs. So just rest. And then plan your time, and then try to have this interaction with not just your classmates, with your seniors, with your juniors, you know, because this our field is a field where you don't know where you see somebody tomorrow. There are opportunities out there that your senior might find for you, or your junior might find for you, or your classmate might find for you. But if you put yourself in a box and you say, oh no, I'm going to be doing my work at home, then when you come to the studio, you just submit and you disappear.
So regarding what he said about making research on famous buildings and their architects, basically that's what this program is all about. We explore great buildings and their designers, and also different types of architecture around the world. Alright, thanks for watching. Hope you learned something new today. For more architecture videos, like, share and subscribe. See you in the next episode.